Hello everyone. As a kid, you've probably asked your dad what the longest road in the world is that you could probably drive. And your dad was probably struggling to answer your question. Well, today's your lucky day and I'm here to answer your question. To start off, let us take a look here on that world map. We can separate the world into three major road systems. We have the American one, the Eurafrican one, and the Australian one. Australia is the only country with its own major road system. Before we start searching for the longest road, we have to define a few rules. First of all, the road has to be the shortest distance from point A to B. Otherwise, we could just drive around Russia for one time and would probably already have the longest road in the world. We are also not allowed to take other means of transportation, such as ferries or trains, because otherwise we could possibly drive from the south of Australia to the north of England. To begin our search, we should probably start in America. What if we drive from the north of America to the south of the continent? However, if we take a close look, we might see a problem here. Through Panama stretches the Panama Canal, a man-made canal which connects the Pacific Ocean with the Atlantic Ocean. However, that's not a problem here, as we can find a few bridges who crosses the man-made canal. But if we go further south, deep into the jungle, we enter the Darien Gap, which connects North America to South America. Although you might think there's a big and busy highway going through, at least it connects two continents, the complete opposite is the case. You cannot find any road who passes through this deep jungle. That means that there's no possible way to drive from North America to South America. And in conclusion, we also have to separate this major road system into two different ones: the North American and the South American road system. We should probably continue with our search for the longest road onto the biggest road system we can see here, the Eurafrican road system. Our starting point will be the most southern location we can find on this map. In our case, that will be Cape Town, or to be completely exact, the southern tip of Africa, which also conveniently separate the Indian Ocean and the Atlantic. It looks like we have two options. We could drive up the west coast of Africa and across the Strait of Gibraltar, or head east and drive through the Middle East. But if you look closely, you might see that the Strait of Gibraltar doesn't have any bridge built yet. So as long as we are not SpongeBob, that might be a little bit difficult for us. So our other option is to go east. But when you look closer, you can also see a man-made canal here, the Suez Canal, which makes ships from Asia going to Europe going like this, and not this. But luckily, people were smart and already built a bridge over it, so that's not gonna be an issue for us today. Now we have to see how far east we could possibly go. Preferably, we should go northeast, as it would be the complete opposite of the south that we just came from. But as we stare on the map, we realize that there's not a lot of roads on the northeast of Russia. You cannot find any towns or any other signs of life up there. And if there's a town, it's usually built next to an airstrip, so you can easily reach it by plane or boat. But if we ask our friend ChatGPT what the most east town to Russia is that we could easily drive to, it answers us with Kazan. And that is true as long as the Trans-Siberian Highway only remains a proposition and a dream, and we cannot drive from Cape Town to New York. With that, Kazan remains the most eastern Russian town we can easily drive to without using a ferry. As you can see, Kazan already borders North Korea, which means that we could theoretically drive to North Korea with our car. There's also a bridge that connects these two countries, but if you take a closer look, you realize that it's only a train bridge. It's probably built for Kim if he wants to see his friend in Moscow. This means that we have just found the longest possible road between 2 points. We don't have to use any ferry because there's a bridge over the Suez Canal, and it is the shortest road between these 2 points. If you would start this longest road trip on planet Earth, it would take us up to 300 hours of non-stop constant driving. We would also cross through 13 countries and drive 22,000 kilometers. This means that we would literally be driving half around our globe. But before you jump in your car and start driving, I would probably advise against it. You wouldn't be driving on super good roads, you would be driving on a lot of dirt roads through many different conflict zones. And in Russia, you would be driving through a lot of nothingness. Just empty, wide and lonely landscapes. As far as my research goes, I also haven't found anyone who has driven that road so far. But at least you can now answer this question to your son or your daughter. If you have any more topics that you would be interested in, or if you have found any longer road, just post up in the comments. But for now, that's it. Thank you for watching and hit that subscribe button.